Finding the right AI tools can sometimes feel like searching for a needle in a haystack. Uh, Platforms like the AI Agent Store are pretty helpful for that, just getting a quick look at what's actually useful.
Right, they cut through some of the noise. And speaking of useful tools, we found something interesting there called Codex CLI. It's aimed squarely at developers.
Okay, Codex CLI. So specifically for people coding, maybe those who prefer the command line.
Exactly. If you're someone who basically lives in the terminal, this is designed to bring AI coding assistance right into that environment.
Interesting. So what does it actually do in the terminal?
Well, its core thing is that it can read your code, it can write new code, and it can even execute code all locally on your machine. It uses OpenAI models, specifically mentioning a 4 mini, I believe.
Locally is key. And it's not just text prompts. I heard something about other inputs.
Yeah, that's a pretty neat feature. It supports multimodal input, so you can give it text commands, obviously, but also screenshots or even diagrams to explain what you need help with.
Whoa, okay. Screenshots or diagrams. So you could, show it a UI mock-up and ask for the code.
Potentially, yeah. Or show it an error message screenshot. It opens up different ways to interact beyond just typing instructions.
That sounds much more intuitive sometimes. Now, executing code locally, that brings up questions about control, right? How much autonomy does it have?
Good question. They've built in 3 distinct approval modes. There's suggest, which is the lowest level. You have to manually approve every single file edit and every shell command it wants to run.
Okay, very hands-on.
Then there's auto edit. This one lets the AI write to your files on its own, but you still need to approve any commands before they run. Kind of a middle ground.
Makes sense. And the third.
That's full auto. In this mode, it can edit files and run commands without waiting for your OK each time. But crucially, it does this within a sandboxed environment.
Ah, sandboxed. Tell me more about that. Security is obviously a huge concern when you're talking about letting AI run code.
Absolutely. So it runs in this isolated container, basically. It's network disabled by default, too. The idea is your source code stays completely local on your machine unless you explicitly decide to, say, copy-paste something out.
Okay, that addresses a big potential worry. Local first, sandboxed execution. That's a strong selling point. Is it difficult to get running?
Apparently not. They emphasize it's pretty much zero setup. It's built for macOS and Linux, and they also have experimental support for Windows using WSL, the Windows subsystem for Linux.
So accessible for most developers then, like software engineers, DevOps folks?
Yeah, exactly. Software developers, DevOps engineers, automation engineers, even AI researchers who might be doing coding tasks. Anyone comfortable with the terminal, really.
And it's open source, you mentioned?
Correct. It's free to use, and the code's available, which is great for transparency and community contribution. It seems pretty popular already, actually.
Right. So what are some typical things you might use it for day to day?
Well, think about getting quick help with a specific function right there in the terminal,
Hmm.
or maybe automating some tedious code refactoring tasks locally. Debugging assistance is another potential use case. It's really about making AI help accessible without leaving your command line workflow.
So the main takeaway is that Codex CLI puts powerful AI coding abilities right into the terminal, focusing on flexibility and keeping things secure locally.
Precisely. It merges the power of modern AI with the environment many developers prefer without forcing you into a different IDE or web tool necessarily.
Very cool. So if you're someone who works with code, especially from the command line, and you're curious about these AI tools, Codex CLI seems definitely worth checking out.
Agreed.
You can find out more about it and discover other AI agents too over at aiagentstore.ai. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and we really appreciate you rating the show.